Ah, finally some free time. I think I'll watch some anime. Let's see. I've heard Attack on Titan is good. Oh wow, dead parents right off the bat? That's kinda dark. Well, what about Full Metal Alchemist? Also dead parents? Okay. Well, I'm sure there has to be something that's not quite as dark. Let's try Jujutsu Kaisen? Chainsaw Man? Demon Slayer? Why does every anime have dead parents? Why does every anime have dead parents? It's one of the most common tropes in anime and especially in shonen anime. Dead parents, deadbeat parents, abusive parents, they're all over the place. And there isn't exactly one reason for it. Sometimes it's because the parent would get in the way of the plot, like Carla in Attack on Titan. Sometimes it's because they're just not important, like Denji's dad. But there are two major reasons that parents die more often than not. The first of which is motivation for the major character. This reason alone can take a few different forms. The most common one is the Demon Slayer approach of literally being motivated by your family from beyond the grave. Another popular method is Jujutsu Kaisen's, where a dead family member's final words become motivation for a life-changing choice. Another more rare example can be seen in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where bringing back their dead mother isn't a motivation for the brothers, but the consequences of their mother's death is the driving force behind the entire show. But it doesn't just stop at dead parents. Bad parents are an excellent motivator as well. Parental issues in general are some of the most common tropes of all time, even back to ancient mythology. They're easy to relate to and easy to understand. Like, who hasn't had a fight with their parents, right? Well, I guess Gon actually hasn't. But still, absent parents are an unfortunately common aspect of many people's lives, as are overprotective and, unfortunately, abusive. These kinds of parental issues can also have a massive effect on the plot of the show. Also, I just want to say that if you've made it this far in the video and you're worried that you're getting major spoilers, you're not. All of these parental deaths happen within the first 2 or 3 episodes, if not the very first episode. This actually brings me to the second reason that dead parents are so common. Parental deaths are an excellent hook for watchers. There is nothing more dramatic than watching someone lose their entire family within 20 minutes of the show beginning. Nothing connects a watcher more to a character than watching them lose a loved one, as it reminds us of what it's like to lose loved ones. A strong hook like this simultaneously keeps the viewer on the edge of their seat and creates an emotional connection to the main protagonist, killing 2 birds with 1 stone in 1 episode. All of these elements give manga writers a lot of incentive to kill parents off early. I mean, it's almost like a cheat code of sorts. You get trauma, you get motivation, you get everything you need to create a lovable protagonist, which is exactly what a marketable shonen manga needs. This is why dead, bad, or missing parents are the second most important trope in anime. Yes, second. They are also the second most important because they are what creates the most important, which is found family. Found family is when a group of people become extremely close friends, forming a familial-like bond in place of the family they lack. When I say this is the most important trope in anime, I mean it. While there are a ton of tropes that make anime, found family is undoubtedly the most important one when it comes to creating complex characters and complex inter-character relationships. Now, I know, these relationships might not seem that important in shonen anime. I mean, who needs intense bonds when you can just fight for 15 episodes, right? Well, not really. At least not to me. While flashy fights are always entertaining, I find they're much more enjoyable when they're with characters that I actually care about. And I care even more when it's with a group of people I care about. Before we get into what makes found family special, I want to differentiate it from some other aspects of interpersonal relationships. Those being normal friendships and romantic relationships. These all fall under the same general umbrella. The main difference is how they form. Friends are often formed over time and experience, whether it's good or bad. Friendship as a concept has a large range of what covers it, and it's mostly up to interpretation. What one person considers a friend might be considered an acquaintance to someone else, and what someone might consider a close friend or even a best friend might be considered just a friend to someone else. As for romantic relationships, I mean, everyone understands what those are, right? Sometimes they develop from a friendship, but most of the time someone is seeking out a romantic relationship relationship from the get-go. They're inherently different from friendship and found family because of the timeline that they progress along, specifically in anime. Obviously, real-life romance is a little bit different, but we don't really care about that. We watch anime. So what is the defining factor of found family? It's trauma. That's it. It doesn't have to be super intense trauma, but most of the time it is. Even just one traumatic experience is enough to get the ball rolling on a found family. Most of the time, it starts with some sort of test or mission, which usually goes wrong, and then the struggle to recover from that mission forces the newly put together friends to put their trust in each other beyond what would normally be possible. Sometimes found family can develop over the slow accumulation of smaller pieces of trauma, but that is a little bit rarer because it's also a little bit harder to write. Found family is an important trope for manga writers, especially within the current shonen demographic. It allows the author to develop multiple characters at the same time and allows them to develop those interpersonal relationships at the same time. This is extremely important in the current landscape of shonen due to the blistering pace that so many shows are moving at. Instead of giving a character development one at a time, they can progress multiple characters at once using a trope like found family. While I don't personally think the current pacing of shonen is healthy for the demographic, I think seeing the top sellers move at the pace of an ostrich is having a cascading effect on the demographic, and it's definitely affecting how the rest of the demographic moves. Even if it isn't what the authors want, their publishers certainly want these smaller shonen manga to mimic the top performers, which leads to more manga writers writing characters at this blistering pace. So that's basically why the trope is important for authors, but why is it important for us, the readers? What is it that makes found family the best trope? Well, it comes back to our own world. Connection is something that is becoming increasingly inaccessible. Despite having more resources for communication than ever before, more people are feeling lonely than at any point in history. More people are depressed, more people are overworked, more people are overtired. These characters in found families allow the lonelier people in society to feel less lonely. Now, I'm not trying to say that these characters should be substitutes for real friends or real families. But if you're mentally exhausted and you're choosing between watching a few episodes of your favorite show or going out to dinner or a conversation with a friend, one of these is objectively less mentally taxing. If you're looking to feel a connection in this exhausting world, characters with predetermined relationships will let you do so while recovering from your life in a capitalist hell. But capitalism and its effects on anime are a topic for another video. When I talk with my friends about anime, the most in-depth conversations we have are about characters. Sure, we talk about the fights and the plot as well, but where we really dig in and really gush is the characters. The way they interact with each other, the way they navigate their two-dimensional landscapes, the way they form bonds and break bonds. Character interactions are a lot more than just a piece of the plot. They become a piece of the viewer and a piece of the viewing experience. And the most important character interaction, the one with the most grounding and the most sincerity, is found family. I could go into examples of found family and spoil almost every single shonen anime out there for you to help prove my point, but I'm not going to. Instead, I want you to think about this trope the next time you watch anime, and think about every interpersonal relationship you see. I'm willing to bet that the most enjoyable and most meaningful interactions will come from characters that are part of a found family. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and let me know what you think about found family in the comments down below. And I'll see you again next week for another video.